Alright. This should be recording right now. It should be already live. I had audio issues with that. My microphone wasn't even set up. Also had to find a webcam. I literally just got home at 6:30. I was supposed to be home earlier, but I had to stop at the store. I'm trying to get the chat up here too. So we're going to do a live Q&A because I haven't done one in forever. And, you know, I probably should upload something or you know, something like that. Live stream's good. An actual upload would be nice. I have a discussion planned. It's just about kind of getting around to it, really. I'm trying to get this chat up here still, but I don't think it really wants to go up. But I'm not going off Ask FM, so hopefully you guys have some questions ready for me. Drop them in the chat. That's going to be the best way to do this. Dragon Ball questions, you know, anything Dragon Ball. Talk about fighters. We got a lot of stuff about Dragon Ball fighters recently, so there's a lot to talk about. It doesn't even have to be about Dragon Ball. It could be about movies or games or the mysteries of life that I can answer myself. Hey, I got the chat popped up, actually, as if it really matters. Inner window, get that selected. It looks a lot better now. Not perfect, but a lot better. Okay. So, let's get this party started. Do you think there will be a Jiren versus Hit? Bobby wants to know that. That's an interesting question. It's kind of hard to say because we just saw Hit versus Dipso, and Lord help me if I can even figure out what that short guy with the misshapen head, the dude with all the spider webs he shot out and, you know, was catching Dipso when he went off of the arena. I can't remember that guy's name because honestly he wasn't even cool. But yeah, we saw Hit versus Dipso obviously, so, you know, maybe we'll see him fight not Topo because I feel like that is mainly going to be for Goku, and obviously Goku's going to fight Jiren as well. I think everyone will know that. Hit versus Jiren though, I'm not sure, and I mean, I don't really know if it's really that interesting of a matchup. I mean, I think that Jiren's just so much stronger than Hit that, number one, I think he already understands the whole time skip thing. I feel like he's going to have a counter for that. So if they do fight, I don't think there's going to be much to it. It's going to be, you know, he's going to get knocked out flat, I think is what's going to happen. That's just my opinion at least. And especially if it was Hit from the manga, it wouldn't even be a fight because Hit from the manga is just... Totaro did such a bad job with Hit in the manga that I never forgive him. I didn't get to talk about this. I really hate how in the latest chapter, spoilers if you really care about, it's a minor thing about Goku's character, so it's not a huge spoiler. It's basically said that Goku didn't realize that Goten or Gohan had been born, not as if, you know, they didn't exist, but he didn't realize their births were going on at the time, I guess. So, you know, that's kind of dumb. I can understand Goten, but I don't really get how he wouldn't recognize Gohan. But, you know, I've had a hard time following the manga the last few chapters. I think that it's really gone off the rails with some of the stuff it's done, in my opinion at least. So, let's go through the chat here. My man hasn't uploaded in 2 weeks. SSJ God Ballsy says that. Yeah, you know, this last 2 weeks really, especially, has been like super, super stressful and just... There's been a lot going on, and, you know, I've said it before, and, you know, maybe for people that are new or just haven't heard it before, I'm not ending the channel. I don't know if I ever really would end it. I'm always going to do videos. It's just about when I'm going to do them and how often, how frequently, because, you know, I'll talk about it briefly. Number one, the money really, the income for YouTube is so bad now, and that definitely makes it more difficult to consistently upload and, you know, I'll obviously have like a living off of that. I'm in the process of looking at a job. I'm looking at 4 or 5 different places right now, and I'll still do YouTube. It's just, you know, it's that, you know, the money. YouTube's never really been all about the money for me. The real big thing that has happened is that ever since my first little break I took, I've always felt this kind of lack of creativity and just lack of motivation to get down and edit a big video. Is it motivation or laziness? It's probably a combination of both. I've been really stressed out about stuff. I just had more issues with my car, my Jaguar. So that's been just in a little bit of debt with that. Getting that car fixed because, God, I'm never going to get rid of that thing. It's a classic. There's a lot of money getting put into that. I just got a Honda Pilot for my uncle for free, so that's nice. I just might have to get new brakes for that. But I had to go down to Maryland and take it all the way back to New York. It's been a really long week, but I'm never going to stop doing YouTube. It's just about when the videos are going up. I'm very active on social media. I should say Twitter, really. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll see me there all the time. I love doing tweets, and I like interacting. And that's my favorite part about YouTube is interactions with you guys. And it's great if I make a video and it gets a lot of views and makes money. It's awesome. And, money's always great. Money makes the world go round. And it brings happiness. Even though you might hear otherwise, money is really what makes the world go round. I just like, the main thing is that I like interacting and being able to relax and talk about Dragon Ball. And some people just don't like watching YouTube videos like that, and that's fine. I'm not trying to appeal to everyone. And you don't have to say subscribe if you don't want to. If you think I'm not uploading enough to say subscribed, that's your choice. But that's like my explanation, because I think it's, you guys as viewers deserve to at least hear why I haven't been uploading as much. So, it's just been a lot of stress and a lot of lack of motivation and creativity is what it is, I should say. That's the main thing. There's a lot of factors, but that's it in general. So, but stress aside, it's life. Life goes on. I got distracted from all the questions here. Darth Tyrant 108. Have you ever heard of Team Fortress 2? Of course. I originally played it on the orange box in 2007 on the 360. It's terrible on 360. It's terrible on PlayStation 3 as well, because it actually runs worse. A lot of those multi-platform PS3 games from the earlier days before like 2011, I would say, were definitely inferior on the PlayStation for the most part, just because of the hardware. Not the lack thereof power, but it was harder to develop for. And I've played it on PC a bit. It's not my cup of tea for a hero shooter. I don't even really like Overwatch a huge amount necessarily. I think Overwatch is overrated, but it's a good game. It's fun. I just feel like the depth there, compared to other shooters that I like to play, it just isn't there. The amount of depth I'd like to see. They change the game too frequently for me to really latch on. It's a constantly changing game, and it's great they're updating it, but it's just one of those things where it's like, I just don't like to have these constant updates that do change a lot of the game. I haven't played in several months, but for me, I'm not the biggest fan of that. Halo 5 is amazing. That's probably one of my top shooters. People are going to say, you don't like Overwatch because you say it takes lack of skill, but you like Halo 5. Halo 5 takes tons of skill in the arena modes. There's tons of gameplay mechanics to keep track of, and that's a game that I think really deserves more of a competitive following, in my opinion at least. I know that Dan put a question up here. What do you think of Goku's new transformation? I kind of hope it's a base form type of thing, even though obviously it's like a new looking thing. He has base form hair. His eyes are different. He has what does he have? A blue aura now, right? Because before the promotional art, when he had his back facing the camera, it was red. Now it's blue. So I'm guessing, my guess is, and I did a video on this, on what Goku and Vegeta's final forms would be, and my guess was that their final forms would be something like their base form. I actually said it would be their base form. And I was hoping that power's inside of them, right? It's not like they're taking ki from outside of the world. It's not like they're using the spirit bomb to put energy in them, right? The ki's in them somewhere. It's all about unlocking it in different ways. And maybe Goku's found a way to put Super Saiyan Blue's power into his base with a less strain on his body, or no strain at all. There's going to be some downside to it, because Goku's going to have to be in his base form sometimes, his classic, because people are going to want to see him like that. That's just how it's going to be in the series. But it's going to be, I think it's going to be something mixed with his base form on Super Saiyan Blue. And, that was my prediction for the final form. And I guess Expert Games also said the same thing, but in a different way. But we kind of went to the same conclusion of, the base form would be the perfect thing. But, I had my own reasons for that because I think that makes perfect sense, and that would be the ultimate form. And it's not like it would be an asshole. It's like, yeah, he's he's been able to figure out how to put all that ki into his outward power, I guess. You know, he's able to unleash that power without massive strain and without having to rely on transformations. And the reason I say that it's going to be something that has a lot less stress to it and a lot less strain on the body is because this, in the anime right now, they're really trying to emphasize the fact that Super Saiyan Blue does add a lot more strain to the body than it has before. They touched on it in the Universe 6 arc, not to a huge degree. And now Goku's obviously using, you know, if you saw the latest episode, which you should have by now, Goku is now using Super Saiyan God, which is kind of an ass pull for the anime because Goku didn't use Super Saiyan God in the Universe 6 tournament. So, in the anime at least, he did it in the manga. It just seems weird that he does it in the anime now. I don't like that whole notion that Blue is so strenuous of a form. I've always thought of Blue as being a more stable form, and it's about ki control. That's what it is, you know? I never liked what they did in the manga with it, and, you know, the anime seems to be kind of turning it to that route too. Whether that's Toriyama's idea or not, I don't know. I don't like the idea of it, though. I feel like it should be a more stable form than it's being put on to. Stop with the spoilers. I might not have said spoiler warning, but I literally said, if you've seen the latest episode, which you should have by now, then you would know. That gives you about 8 seconds to pause the video. I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry. Is it really a spoiler when the episode has been out for a few days? I mean, I don't know. You haven't had the time to watch it. It's on Crunchyroll, and I know that a lot of people probably go on like Kiss Anime or something to watch it anyways and not support the series. But either way, let's see. But yeah, I don't like the whole idea of Super Saiyan God coming back just for that reason. I think it's kind of silly. But that's just me. And I'm always wrong about stuff, so. Is GT worth buying? GT is worth buying if you can get it for a good price. Actually, the green bricks I have back there, you can't see them, I don't think. The chat's in the way, actually. You know what? Let me move this friggin' chat to right there. Over, I don't know why I have my cursor pointing at it. On my right, can't point at it. Right there, green bricks. $25 at Walmart is what I got it for, so. Yeah, I think it's, I don't hate GT, I like GT, so. There's definitely rough parts about it, though. Am I going to play the beta for Fighters? Yeah, I definitely am. Maybe I'll have it on PlayStation and Xbox, because I have my PS4. Oh, God. I feel so bad. It's just laying here unhooked. It's unhooked. It's not set up. I don't play it. The only thing I play it for, I have Xenoverse on it, Xenoverse 2. I don't play it a whole lot on here, because my main console is Xbox. But I use this for Uncharted 4, and that's really it. I haven't gotten Horizon Zero Dawn. Doesn't look like a game that really grabs me. I'm very particular about my open world games. Rockstar has just excels so much at making them with the Grand Theft Auto series, Red Dead, any open world game they come out with because they're the king of it. Horizon just seems like it's still one of those lower, like not as polished games. And I don't want to say polished as in terms of, you know, the gameplay's not good or stuff like that. I like open world games that have a lot of physics to them. So Zelda Breath of the Wild, I like that a lot, even though I didn't play it for more than 3 or 4 hours because I don't have a Wii U. I was using my brother's. I like open world games that have physics in them, nice physics, that have weight to the world, that make you feel like you're in a real place. And the first game did that was GTA 4, and GTA 4 still does it better than most open world games. All the Ubisoft open world games are pretty lackluster, even Far Cry, you know, there's just not a lot of weight to the world. Granted, Far Cry does do it better than their other games. Ghost Recon Wildlands is just... Oh, the open world in that is just so... It seems so unnecessary, and the gameplay's dumbed down from the last Ghost Recon that it is a shame. I still enjoy the game for what it is, but, you know, I'm very particular about my open world games. Very particular about it. What was I saying? Oh, something about Fighters. Yeah, I don't know how I go from Fighters to that, honestly. I really just don't understand how that kind of goes together. I got a text message on my phone. Doesn't matter. Actually does. I'm going to have to check it. I always get super, I don't know, curious when my phone vibrates. Super and GT both have problems. Yeah, and so is Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball. I saw a question when I first was scheduling the stream, is that someone was asking, I can't remember the name, but I thought it was a decent question, is that if Super and GT can still exist, or can still connect in some way in terms of story. I don't think so. Especially the farther we go on with Super, the more and more things that just doesn't line up with GT. Obviously, Super Saiyan Blue and Super Saiyan God aren't in GT. They don't exist in there. Little nitpick things like the Pilaf gang being old again. That's not a huge deal. You can make an excuse for that. I'm gonna lower this chat here, or make it smaller. But there's a lot of things that, they just don't need to mix together. They don't need to link up and be in the same timeline. Obviously, GT's not canon, but at the same time, I don't think that Super's going to go past where GT is in the timeline, which is 5 years after the end of Dragon Ball Z. It says 10 years in the English dub, but it's 5 years. I don't think it's going to go to there. GT's going to stay its own separate story. Super's not going to go past that 5 years. If it does, it's going to be something like the 100-year gap after GT. It's going to be something that's, I guess, a solo story or, by itself, not really connected to anything directly. So there's nothing next to it on either side, if that makes sense. There's years. It would be something that's like years after Z and years and years. But, GT's still popular, even, regardless of what you might think about it. It still is. It makes tons of money. It's super popular. Dokkan Battle, we got Gogeta, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. We got another Omega Shenron in Dokkan Battle, which I've started playing recently, obviously. So, the popularity is there. I don't see too many people excited about Final Form Cooler coming to Dokkan, even though I think he's in the Japanese version. But there's a version of Final Form Cooler coming to Dokkan, and it doesn't seem like a lot of people are excited about that as him as a character, because I guess people don't like Cooler. But it's obvious that people like GT characters, or at least some of them. Super Saiyan 4 specifically, but that stuff still it brings in the money. When I go and start talking, I answer a question and then I answer it in such a long and broad way that it's so. It's that's me. I talk all the time. Toribot King of All, Josh, you have an external crisis. I don't seem to be able to get over one. The fact our reality exists drives me crazy. It would make more sense if there was nothing. I'm trapped here. I don't know how to answer that, bro. It doesn't sound like a real problem. I don't know how to answer that one. That's like something you need to. I don't know. That doesn't sound like a real issue. I think you just threw that at me to stump me. Oh boy. Listen, kids, cover your ears, children. I'm going to answer this one. Pablo Malinsky. I'm going to say Malinsky because that flows better. I'm not going to go too in-depth with this one because this just touches on so many different political views. I shouldn't even talk about the question. But you're waiting for it, Pablo. I know it. You're waiting for the question to be answered. I'm just going to answer it. Not too in-depth or crazy. Let's keep this simple here. I got a question, and please be honest. I always am. I don't lie to you guys. Does liking... I apologize for laughing. Actually, I don't. It's a funny question. I'm not going to apologize for laughing. It is a funny question. Does liking tranny porn make me gay? Because when I see a man, I don't get hard, but some people think I'm gay. So what are your thoughts on this? I like ass. There's no way that's not a troll question, but in the chance that it is a legit question, if you look at transgender porn, I mean, I would assume that the transgender people have penises still. It depends what you're looking at it for, I guess. I would say you have, at the very least, you might be bi. I wouldn't say gay. I mean, you say you don't get turned on by a guy. This is a troll question, I know, but I'm trying to answer it legit. You don't get turned on by men, but you get turned on by chicks with dicks? Or do you just get turned on from the boobs, but you like the ass? And that's still a guy's ass. You know, they might put implants in it, but that's going to be a guy's ass no matter what, and you should know that. You're bisexual. That's the answer to that question. And there's nothing wrong with that. Personally, I'm not, but, you know, live your life how you want to. Why did I even bother answering that? I didn't read the whole thing before I answered it, so I probably could have looked at it and realized it was probably a troll question. But in the off chance that's not, there's your answer. I heard this on the Hodge twins, man. Nocta said, it's up to like sex. We're going to get like a ton of sex questions now, and this is going to be just an 18+ video. Because I know there's kids that watch, but that's why I warned them at first. So kids, I'm warning you. I remember one time when we were on, I'm going to be detouring from this question real quick, but I got saved right here. I really got to take a drink of that tea too. I'm thirsty as hell. When I was doing a live stream with Quinn, he was talking about how, this is like a Call of Duty World at War live stream. He talked about how some kid's mother messaged him and said to stop swearing, or she was like mad because he swears and he swore in a video or something. The mom was mad that her kid was watching that, and she messaged him or something like that. It was like a year and a half ago or more. That's stupid. Like, that's such a stupid situation. Like, you should be the parent. Don't get mad at the person that the kid's watching. And don't necessarily get mad at the kid, but you can police the child's activity. It's not hard. That's like the people that are getting mad that Grand Theft Auto... I always bring up GTA, but it's an amazing thing. But it's also relevant to this thing. Gears of War, Grand Theft Auto, like Killzone. I have to put a PlayStation game in there so I don't seem like a fanboy. Any violent game with something with sexual themes even, and a lot of gore. You know, don't get mad at the games. Get mad at the people that are letting their kids buy those games and then getting mad about it. Like, it's a mature game. It's meant for mature audiences. Like, please don't. I mean, I've been playing GTA since I was like 6 or 7, and I turned out okay for the most part. But it's, I hate some people. I really do. No, but Nocta's question, I'll read it in a second, but I need a drink of this Stewart's brand tea, not a sponsor. God, a sponsorship would help right now, I'll tell you though. But green tea, it's good. Don't look at me when I drink it. It makes me uncomfortable. That's good stuff. But what I'm going to say is, I'm going to get to this question. 86 people watching ain't too bad considering I haven't uploaded. I've been inactive, and this is a freaking Q&A. I didn't think anyone would care about it. So, Nocta, are you gay? You've probably seen the question up there if you're looking at the chat. Are you gay if you have sex in the ass and you say no homo? True question. Funny thing is that I'm answering this because I saw in the Hodge twins, someone sent in something and said that he didn't want to do anal with his girlfriend because he thought it was gay. But if you're doing it with a girl, even though it's an ass, it's not gay. That's the simple answer. So, I mean, it's a girl's ass, man. Apple juice. Thanks, Jon Snow. Apple juice is very good. John Cena versus Chuck Norris. Well, Chuck Norris would probably kick his ass, I'd say. I mean, how's Chuck Norris now? He's really old, but I'm sure he's still got some fight in him. I mean, Chuck Norris, and if you want to just go up, Chuck Norris would win. I'm not even like doing it as a joke. He's like a really, really incredible fighter and martial artist, obviously. Let's see here. What's up with the people saying gay in the chat? They probably talking about the questions I'm asking. They're going by so fast, and I want to pick decent questions. Do you think Gohan will obtain Super Saiyan God White? Cameron for anime. Well, Super Saiyan God White has to exist first. I don't think it's going to be a form, though. It's not going to be a form. Dan asks, who do you got in the Mayweather versus Conor fight? I don't know. I don't follow boxing. I don't follow UFC, MMA stuff. I don't follow a lot of that. Only thing I picture in my head is the last big fight with Mayweather where he fought Manny Pacquiao and ran around the whole time. So I don't know how he's gonna fight him here. I probably won't even watch it. It's just I'm not the right person to ask about it, really. I have a huge lack of knowledge with it. Toribot King of All. I love talking about Dragon Ball. I've answered so many questions at this point that hearing questions about like life and stuff and just anything else is nice to hear, but it's not like I hate talking about Dragon Ball. I don't like it. It's just cool to hear you guys actually ask about other things, because that shows a lack of interest on my channel beyond Dragon Ball Z. So I'd like to think my personality, like, kind of is what you guys partially like as well. That's my goal. It's not always about informing people. Toribot, again, Josh, what kind of faces do you like in a girl, since you prefer that over boobs and butts? When did I say that? I know that that's true, but when did I say that specifically? Was it during a last stream? I don't remember. What kind of faces? I mean, I don't have this whole idea of different face categories like Champa does in the last episode of Super. But, you know, girl with a really pretty face, I mean, can go a long way. You usually don't see, I mean, it is a thing, but, you know, you don't usually see girls with really nice faces but don't have any boobs or don't have, like, a nice butt or something. And, I mean, I'm not a guy that likes really, really giant asses anyways. Like, I think that sometimes it gets a little absurd. But that's me. If I had to pick between butts or boobs, I mean, I could go either way, because it's kind of, sorry for the female viewers if they are concerned at all, if they should still be listening. But, you know, when it comes to boobs or butts, it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, they can both be equally as good. But for a face, I mean, I don't know, like, am I supposed to make categories of faces or something? I just know when I think a girl's got a really pretty face. But I'm also really picky about it. And that's bad. I'm very picky about faces. It's bad because I'm not an amazing looking guy, but, well, I'm okay. So, I mean, I don't know what kind of faces I could tell you. Like, is there a category list I should be looking at? There's just something about a girl's face when I look at them, and I'll know it when I see them. It's not like one of those things where I need to know, like, you know, I don't trust pictures, though. Pictures, because I know very, 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 very beautiful women that look very strange in pictures. So, Super or GT, which is better? Super. I gotta do that follow-up stream to that, because remember I did the live stream a few weeks back with Mike, and we never got to finish it because my PC just kept shutting down on me. So that was unfortunate. So I gotta redo that stream. Favorite anime or favorite cartoon? Dragon Ball as a whole is my favorite anime. I just finished watching Parasite on Crunchyroll. That was awesome. It's been a while since I've seen an action-oriented anime in a while. So that was nice. Very digestible, 24-ish episodes. Very digestible. Definitely worth a watch. On Godly Nipple Hair. On a scale of 1 to 10, how sexy do you believe you are? I'd give myself a solid 7, but probably no higher than that. I don't know if I'd really say lower. No lower than a 6. I'm confident in my appearance. But, you know, I feel like when it's... And I'm not trying to, like, I guess... what's the word? I guess sugarcoat my opinion on myself. With a guy, it's about looks too, but with guys, it's also about, you know, how women perceive you with emotion and confidence, especially. Now, confidence is super important. It's a lot more complex for a guy, in my opinion. You know, with women, it's like, there's not as much of a need for, you know, like, do you care if a girl's confident? No, probably not. Not at least initially. Maybe if it's like a long relationship or something like that, but... You know, stuff like that. There's just a lot more factors, I guess, when you're a guy. I'm actually looking for a Dragon Ball question now. Isn't that weird? 1%, 1% female viewers. I think my demographic, you know, Granted, it's probably somewhere in the, it's probably exaggerated because people will have fake accounts, or maybe there'll be girls that have themselves listed as guys because I think it's probably the default thing for YouTube. And guys might be role playing as some anime character. I don't know. I think my viewership is like 3 or 4% female. I can go check, but I forgot how. It's in my analytics. It's somewhere around there, which is more than you would expect. So out of 80,000, 3% would be like, well, I'm not going to do the math right now. What's your favorite game other than Dragon Ball games? Well, Grand Theft Auto, obviously. GTA 5 specifically. And, GTA 4 is right up there. It's fun. My top 5 are probably GTA 5. Maybe Max Payne 3's next. GTA 4, Red Dead. I could go either way with those two. Gears of War 4 is really good. How many was that? That was 4. That was 5 games. So we'll just do those 5. I like MGS 5 too. MGS 3, 4. Those are all good as well. DC or Marvel? I mean, I would pick Marvel over DC any day. Goku versus Naruto 22. Can you give social anxiety advice and learning how not to give a fuck? I mean, I can. I don't know if I'm the best person to ask this, but excuse me for a second. My dog had opened my door up. I gotta take another drink, though. There's no alcohol in this, I swear. Trying to cut back on the drinking. Social anxiety advice. I wouldn't call myself an expert in this field, but I can try to give advice to you. It'd be better if I knew specific problems, but one of the things that you have to... It's tough when you don't actually have something to pinpoint the issue at, like what is your exact problem. Just general social anxiety. I mean, it's kind of just, one of the things is, I used to have it, and then I worked at Stewart's. I worked retail stuff, so I interacted with a lot of people, and after that, it kind of was one of those things where I was forced to kind of adapt and be a lot more, really, it is confidence. Confidence isn't just used for, with women. It's a life skill that you use with everyone to talk to people. It's something you have to have in life if you want to really interact with people. New people, I should say. Be able to tackle certain situations, certain things in life, certain discussions, stuff like that. So the first step is really building confidence. How to build confidence? I think Geekdom did a video on it. Danny. We used to have Skype conversations about this all the time, though. Life skills, stuff in life like this. All the time. Me, him, Quinn, and some of the other guys as well. So the first step is confidence. How you're supposed to get that confidence is kind of up to you to kind of figure out. You have to understand, if it's with girls, if you're finally, let's say you have no problems talking to like other guys or stuff like that. Not saying that you're trying to pick them up, but just interacting with new people, being able to flow a normal conversation. If you're fine with that, and maybe you have a problem talking to like girls or something, the thing you have to think about is just look at the woman, and it's not the easiest thing to do off the bat. Look at the girl like she's another guy. Don't act like it's some beautiful, attractive woman in front of you that's I don't know, intimidatingly attractive or something like that. Sounds simple when you say it, but when you actually go down to try to do something like that, can't always be that easy. Although I'm okay with it now. It really is something you just need to have experience with. You just need to go out there and talk to people. If you're out in public and you're not confident talking to people, or you have social anxiety, go to an unfamiliar location. It sounds like the worst thing to do, but I would say go to an unfamiliar location, Maybe drive 20 minutes, go to some mall or something. Go to a couple stores, interact with people. If you're going to buy something, just make general conversation. It doesn't have to be someone of the opposite sex or someone that you're flirting with. Not like that. Just anyone. You have to force yourself to get in there and get experience. If I had more to go on with your question, which I didn't actually check to see, but if you said something else, put it in the chat again. Maybe I can help. I'm not the best person to ask that, though. I'm not the best person at giving that type of specific advice. But I feel like with that kind of advice, it really is more of one of those things where it's situational, where the person that has the problem might need to figure it out for themselves, and it just comes with experience with getting older and growing up in life. I say getting older as if I'm really old, and all jokes aside, I'm 21, so I haven't been, I don't have the most experience in the world. I haven't aged yet. Broly versus Kale, who wins? Kale, no question. It's not even a fight. It's not even a fight. Where the fuck is Madison? Probably working, honestly. I doubt she even knows I'm streaming right now. This is a bad question for me. Christos. Oh boy, I'm sorry. I'm gonna mess up your name. I apologize. It is Christos Scoundridakis. There's no way I got that right. That's not the hardest name I've had to read on here. Who do you think should be the Florida Gators starting quarterback? Luke Del Rio, Malik Zaire, or Felipe Franks? I think it should be Franks. I don't know any of those people. I don't follow sports at all. So, you got me. I'll agree with you, though. I'll trust your opinion. I would say Franks should be the starting quarterback, but I don't know who the hell any of those people are. All I know is I know what the Florida Gators are. Let's see here. Dream car, Jerry Gourdet or Gourdet. I love my Jaguar XJ6 1987. Love the car. Dream car specifically, though. I'll take another drink and think about that. I feel bad that I keep taking drinks, but it's really not that big of a deal. I'm just super thirsty. Take dream car. I don't know what my dream car would be. I want a Ford GT. I'm thinking of like a classic though. I love my Jaguar. I don't know if I'd want just owning the car and aside from all the work I have to do on it and all the money I have to spend on the car, I love driving the thing. It looks amazing. That might it's biased because that's my first car and it's a classic, so I kind of just am drawn to it. That I couldn't really think of what my dream car would be specifically though. That's a tough question. I can't answer it though. I don't know. I like new cars, but something about older classics, it really is drawing me, like 60s, 70s, 80s. 90s, a lot of the body work, I just don't like it. A lot of the body work I just don't like from the 90s. So, yeah. Let's see here. Broly versus Chrono. Okay, come on, bro. Come on, bro. 90s Mortal or Gunner Sports 90s Mortal Kombat games versus Killer Instinct games. It's funny, and I have Killer Instinct on Xbox One, the Killer Instinct Gold, the old ones. Never played them though, because I had Rare Replay on my Xbox. So, as far as overall though, if you're talking about any Killer Instinct game, I mean, I think the newest Killer Instinct from 2013 is probably the best fighting game I've ever played, in my opinion at least. I mean, something about it is just, I love all the defensive opportunities and all the counters you can do, so it just feels right to me. It reminds me a little bit of Budokai, and I understand the counters are obviously in the old games as well, but it's kind of like Budokai 3 where you can do the snap vashes and stuff, and you can do dodges and all that stuff. I just like fighting games where you have a lot of defensive capabilities, and I feel like there's just fighting games where that's really not always an option. And I say defensive capabilities as in, as you're getting attacked, you have ways to get out of those combos and stuff. And I think Killer Instinct does it in a very nice and accessible way as well for like newcomers. I mean, I think you should still do the tutorial on Killer Instinct, but if two button masters are going at it together, there's very good chance that there's going to be a lot of combo breaks going on, or lockouts even. So, I feel like Killer Instinct, if you're two noobs fighting each other, would be a pretty good game. A good match as well. What do you think of Seth the Programmer's power scaling? I mean, hit or miss. I mean, he definitely has a lot of stuff down. I think he does a lot of research on the stuff he does. A lot of outside info, looking at Daizenshuu and stuff like that. I feel like some of the ways he tackles some of the things might not be the best way, and I'm not saying I'm the best power scaler, but I feel like some of his opinions, at least in the past, I don't watch him anymore. I used to watch a lot of his videos and stuff. I don't really watch him so much anymore. I've never talked to the guy either. I just feel like older stuff, some of his opinions on some stuff might not be the best. But, I've made mistakes in old videos. I don't know what he does recently, but I would say a solid power scale. I just think that maybe some of the stuff he does isn't exactly, the be-all, end-all. It's not like that. No one's the be-all, end-all, really, for a lot of things in this community, really. People can be wrong. Hit asks, should I get my own manga series? Or series or manga? I think that little mini filler arc, and I will call it filler because it's not something that's going to be in the manga, and it was something that was probably made by Toei Animation. The little hit side story that we got was pretty cool. Those few episodes, so there's a lot of room for exploration with him. Maybe his race, honestly, Universe 6 as a whole, and some of the more some of the stuff he does as part of his job as being an assassin. I think it'd work better as a manga series, though. A lot of those Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super, spin-off series that you could think of would probably lend themselves. They'd probably be a lot better in a manga, I would say. What's my favorite type of pie? Well, besides cream pie, I probably would have to say cherry or lemon meringue. Yeah. Little low-key joke there for you if you caught it. I mean, you should have caught it. Where the hell did I put my drink? Jesus. Put it on the floor? What is this, a barnyard? Was I born in a barn? Let's see. Can I shave your face on a live Q&A? No? I mean, I meant to trim it, though. Take my razor to it and trim it. Mystic Volve donated $2, man. Thanks a lot. I don't need anyone to donate to me, though. And that's not reverse psychology. I definitely really appreciate that, though. Even though I don't really think I deserve it. Especially because of my inactivity. But I really do appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Cream pie. This question might be weird, but who do you think the hottest DBZ girl is in your opinion? If I can, let's just assume we're talking about Dragon Ball, right? All of Dragon Ball. It's really down to Anime Fan Z. Asks that. It's down to not Kale, Caulifla and Android 18, and it's not even a question at that point. It's one of those two. It's just about who exactly. Dan asks, were you shocked that Zeno could not follow the movement of the fighters? Not really. I don't really think it's something that needs to be answered really either. I just don't think that it's not something that I looked at and was like, that's stupid. It's something I looked at and be like, yeah, well, Zeno's not a fighter. He's just, I mean, I would assume he's a strong guy, child-like being. Is his power really about his actual power level, or is it about he has these abilities that let him destroy things? like with the gods of destruction, they have that godly, the destruction energy, the Hakai energy. Don't even make me talk about Goku using it in the manga, because I really don't want to talk about that. It's one of the dumbest things the manga's done. I didn't do a video on it. I should have. I don't know how anyone else feels about it. I would assume everyone else hates it because it's so stupid. But Goku using Hakai in the manga is so... It's not good. But I just assumed that Zeno couldn't keep up because he just isn't a fighter. He's not trained to do that kind of stuff. It's not like their speed is so much beyond Zeno's power. But again, it's not like... I don't know if Zeno's so strong because he has a high power level, or if it's because he is just not magic, but something like magic. It's an ability to destroy things and do whatever the hell he wants. I don't know. It's complicated, but I don't really think it's something that's too hard to understand, in my opinion. It's kind of one of those things where it's like, yeah, I could see him not being able to follow that. I mean, the freaking two of them can't even figure out who the fighters are half the time, so... every time someone gets knocked out, he's like, where's this guy? Granted, I'd probably be doing the same thing too because I'm dyslexic, but maybe Zeno's dyslexic. Do you think the Mighty Fighter 101, do you think the series would be bad if he was a villain? I think that'd be a misstep. I don't think that there's any reason to make him a villain. I don't think he'd be interesting as a villain either. And I really don't want I've said before, I don't really want the Grand Priest to turn out to be a villain as well. I think that would just be kind of lame. Unless they do it right. If they do it a certain way, maybe they will impress me with it. But especially because everyone's been predicting stuff like that, it's kind of just like one of those things where it's like, really? Do we need to see that? I don't know. The Destruction and the Creator asks, hey, who would win, Zeno versus Zeno? They could probably just destroy each other. Honestly. That's what I would say. Nick Torres says, I'm like 30 minutes late, but Launch is the hottest. I could put her up there somewhere, but, 18 and cauliflower, I mean, you can't. If you disagree, you're incorrect. There might be opinions allowed in this world, but that's one of those things where if your opinion's different, it's wrong. Bryden Ringwood. What do you think about the current Dragon Ball Super arc? I think that it has a lot more potential that it can live up to. It's gotten better as it has progressed. There were definitely, in the first few episodes, there were some missteps, a lack of interest in some of the fights, on my end at least. I think some of the fight choreography could have been better, but it has improved as it has progressed. There's been more interesting battles. It's a little weird that they're not showing anything that Frieza's doing, whether that's an intentional thing for the story, so we can't see what he might be scheming up with, let's say, Frost. I was hyping up Frieza a lot. We just haven't seen him too much, but there's going to be some scheme, obviously, towards the end of the story, or maybe in the middle of the story, depending on how it goes on with Frieza. But I would have liked them to explore more of his fights. At least at this point, I would have liked to see more of that. Although Android 17 and 18 are totally badass right now in this arc. What are your favorite sports? Jerry Gourdet. I answered a question of his earlier. Hate soccer. I used to play it. Don't like basketball. I suck at it. Don't like baseball. I suck at it. Don't like softball. It's pretty much the same thing, but I suck at it. I haven't played hockey, but I can't ice skate. I can't rollerblade either. I like skateboard, although I suck at that now. I like golf, but I suck at it, even mini golf. Tennis, don't mind, suck at it. Bowling, like it, suck at it. Pool, I'm actually decent at, and I like it. I used to play football, though, in school, and I like that a lot. I didn't suck at it either. I didn't follow any of the plays, though. What I used to do is I'd always get yelled at by the coach. The quarterback would get the ball because I was on defense. So I was Brain fart. Offense. Defense. Sorry. Oh, it was a brain fart. Anyways, I was against the quarterback. Just because I played football doesn't mean I need to know all the terminology, because I was just there to sack the frickin' guy. So I never followed the plays. I would always... they used to call me Psycho because I would scream at the people I was in front of before the ball was even hiked off. I just yell at them. And I don't know if it was confusion or terror in their eyes, but it was probably confusion. But I would go in. They'd try to block me. I'd just be like this. Hands on the shoulder. Throw you to the ground. Pretty sure that's not allowed. But I did it anyways. Went through them. Took the quarterback down a lot of the time. They didn't put me in much, though. Probably because I wasn't playing right. But hey, I showed them. King of Time wants to know, are you ever going to do a video about the Saiyan's base power in the Buu Saga? I mean, it's an idea for a video that I've had for a while. It's about executing it. So I can't promise that's going to happen, but, you know, it is a video idea, obviously. Let's see. What's your opinion on Mastar Media? I don't even want to get into it. If you are... how do I approach this with the least amount of shit talking as possible? So you already know it's not a good opinion. I don't really want to get into it. He hasn't done anything to me specifically. He's done stuff to people I know and some of my friends. I don't even think I'm on his radar, which is fine. I don't need to be. Don't like the guy. Nothing about him that I think is redeemable from what I've seen. I don't know him personally, but I don't think I need to, because from what I can see on his YouTube thing, I kind of have an idea of what type of person he is, even if that's not exactly who he is in person. For all I know, he could be worse in person. He could be better. I would put my money on worse just based on how he acts in some of the live stream clips that I've seen, and some of the stuff I've seen. But I don't want to get into it too much. He just doesn't seem like a good person. He doesn't make exciting content to me. That's basically the bottom line. Simple way to answer that. I'm not gonna, puss out of it. I'll give you my thoughts on him. I don't really care for him. Seems like a dingus would be the proper thing to say. But if you like him, you like him. You watch him, you watch him. Don't let my opinion sway what you think. Doesn't matter. Mr. Toast is nice. It's an interesting name. Do you think is Beerus if Beerus was gone and he had enough power, Broly would come to become the next god of destruction? At this point, I kind of wish that this tea had a lot of, what about bourbon would be good with this? I wish it had some sort of alcohol in it, but maybe bourbon and tea? Yeah, tea and bourbon would be a decent mixed drink. There's probably a name for that. Now I kind of wish there was about half a bottle in this. I mean, Broly would have to exist in the timeline first, because he still doesn't exist in the Dragon Ball Super timeline as far as I can tell. Even if Kale looks just like him when she transforms, no one's mentioned the fact they look alike, so it's obvious that he doesn't exist in the timeline. But Broly's not... Logan, I'm not saying that I'm better than Mastar Media. I'm just saying that I don't like the guy. That's all. Every time I put my hands on my counter, it shakes. Not my webcam, it's just shaking my whole computer monitor, and I'm barely touching my computer desk here. Like, it's not even moving, it's just shaking my whole monitor, so. The Great Angel, tea and bourbon, you disrespect the sanctity of bourbon. Listen, I drink bourbon straight most of the time, so I understand. I'm just saying it might taste good. The only thing I use for mixed drinks generally is Bacardi rum with Sprite is pretty good. I usually drink a lot of my alcohol straight, though, to be honest. Big whiskey drinker. I always drink whiskey straight. I've never mixed whiskey with anything, actually. But yeah, whiskey's my thing. Yukon Jack, that's some good stuff. That'll give you a kick in the ass if you're not careful. Not a big Fireball drinker though. I don't like that too much. Not my thing. Alucard Jr. 69. You still haven't answered. How big is your Shenlong, and do your Dragon Balls have scales? I see your question. It's back there. Actually, let's see. I have a Shenron plushie. That's the closest thing I got to the Shenlong that you want. I don't have a figure. And my Dragon Balls do not have scales on them. Let's see. Is your diet plan off? I'm actually right now doing the I was listening to the Hodge twins, and I heard about, and this is old because they've been doing it forever, and I don't know how I never, because I've watched them for a while, on and off. I kind of started watching them again recently a lot more, but I've been watching them for years. There's a thing called emanating fasting, and I've been losing weight like that. I've been eating, for the most part, stuff I want to eat, but it's all about eating when, and it's picking when and when not to eat, really. So you're not starving yourself or anything like that. It's just, not eating so much throughout the whole day, really. But still getting the calories you need in. So that's been working. I've been losing some weight off of that. But I definitely have some trouble losing weight. I'll tell you that right now. I haven't been gaining more, at least. That's good. But, I definitely would like to lose some. Get some of this out of my face. Look a lot better. Of course, I used to be really skinny when I first started making videos. Let's see. Do you think GT is worth watching? I think it is if you haven't seen it. There's definitely be prepared to be bored at some points, I would say. But there are definitely parts where there are interesting things, interesting scenarios and stuff like that, cool fights. It's worth watching. Just, you probably have your expectations tapered back pretty far if you haven't seen it. I'm sure you've heard that people don't like it. Japanese or English, you can watch it. The English dub is fine. Put the Japanese sub on. There's definitely some script changes. I don't think it's as bad as Z. Make sure you watch it with a Japanese soundtrack. The American one it's not good. I'll tell you that, it's not very good. The Japanese soundtrack's beautiful though. I'll say that it's a beautiful soundtrack. Although I do like Step Into the Grand Tour theme. Not the lyrics. The lyrics are god awful, but the actual guitar riff is pretty cool. I think so. Just look up the instrumental of the intro for the English one, and I think that it's a nice little guitar riff. Will we ever get GT on Blu-ray? I don't think so. I'd buy it if it did on Blu-ray, but I don't think it's going to happen. I would expect Dragon Ball. No, actually, I wouldn't expect Dragon Ball on Blu-ray first, honestly. Let's see here. Do you think, or HV9000, do you think SS Rage is actually Super Saiyan Blue Grade 2, aka SS2 becoming a god? I don't know what to make of Super Saiyan Rage. It's not in the manga. It's something Toei came up with out of nowhere. It's kind of cool, but it's really dumb at the same time. It doesn't make any sense. It's actually pretty damn stupid because there really is no explanation for it. It took us a while to even get a name for it. Yeah. It's kind of cool looking, though. But that's about it. I mean, I don't know what the form would be. It's not implied that it's God Key at all, although it has the blue God Key type of aura. But other than that, I don't remember there being any implications of any God power. But it must be, right? Unless it's some form of Super Saiyan that Goku and Vegeta haven't ever been able to unlock. It's a pure Super Saiyan form instead of being God power. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. But it's kind of cool looking, and that's about all I can say. Will you ever start doing weekly Q&As again? I think I could do ones like this every once in a while. Doing actual Q&As with Ask FM, it gets kind of repetitive, and there's only so many questions that can be answered. I think this one's gone very well. I've liked answering a lot of the questions that you guys have been asking. I like interacting with you guys as always. So, that's always great. But it's not something I think I would do every week just because I feel like it would get monotonous. I mean, I've done over 100 Q&As, and no one else has done that. I don't know how many people on YouTube have even done that many. I might have the record. Someone research that and let me know if I have the record for the most Q&As on YouTube. I will consider that an accomplishment. But I don't know if I had the most Q&As. Also, thing you gotta remember, my Q&As, they usually last 15, 30 minutes or more. So, yeah, it has been a lot. It's been a long haul. Checking the chat here for some more questions. Current Piccolo versus Mystic Gohan from Z. Where the hell did your name just go? I read your question and then it's gone. Oh, to be honest, I kind of wish I didn't read the name. Explode! Exclamation mark! Exclamation mark! Exclamation mark! Space! Exclamation mark. I would say Gohan. I haven't really analyzed Piccolo all that much. I haven't felt a need to. I would still say Gohan from Z as Mystic, being stronger than Super Buu, obviously. What I can really think of is just Piccolo versus Frost. And he fought a really, really weakened Final Form Frost, who already wasn't incredibly strong compared to Goku. Goku's a Super Saiyan, whooped his ass. But then there's the thing is, if do you believe that Goku's base form was as strong as Super Saiyan God? Because that would seem to imply that Frost at full power, Final Form, would have to be stronger than Super Saiyan God if you think his base form is stronger than God in the Universe 6 arc. Let's just emphasize that right now. I'm not saying the scaling is going to be perfect, but he would have to be strong on Super Saiyan God Goku from Battle of Gods and that respective arc, obviously, because Goku had to go Super Saiyan to beat him. At least that's what I would gather from it. He had to go Super Saiyan to beat him. Otherwise, he wouldn't have wasted his time. That being said, it's a super, super, super weakened Frost. Like, he's beaten down good. And Piccolo's still not having the edge. The only reason he has the edge is because he grabs him and stuff like that. He's still a lot weaker. But I guess if you want to say he's a strong Super Saiyan God Goku or stronger, and even if he's way weaker, and Piccolo's still way weaker than him even after that, that would still probably equate, I would say, to more than Mystic Gohan. But I would still say that I feel like Piccolo probably hasn't trained to be stronger than Mystic Gohan, realistically. But I don't know. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? That doesn't make sense, does it? That's the best I can answer it, though, right now. Let's see. Thought I just saw one really good. Well, I'll say this now just because I got bitched at already. Spoiler alert for the next episode, and I should say next episode as in next episode preview. I don't have the spoilers for the next episode. But, if you saw the preview for the next one, Dan asks, do you think Roshi will be able to hold it together next episode? I hope so. Whatever he plans on doing, if he's doing the Mafuba, maybe something we haven't seen. I would hope that he doesn't get killed, but that would be the first death in the Tournament of Power, but it would be more of a suicide death type of thing. Either way, I mean, he's going to end up being revived if he does die, but I hope he doesn't end up dying, but that would add for a bit of tension, an interesting way to lose another Universe 7 fighter. Favorite PlayStation 2 game, Matthew Stewart. Vice City, San Andreas, Resident Evil 4, Budokai 3, obviously. I kind of like... This isn't in my top 10 or top 30 or anything like that, but I remember one of the movie license games I really liked, besides obviously King Kong, because that's an amazing game. Batman Begins was a fun game I remember being. was not too bad. I think got 7 out of 10s when it came out, which ain't too bad. Spider-Man 2 is very good. I'm trying to think of PS2 games that really just stick out at me now. That's a good question. Resident Evil 4 for sure, though. That's not even a question at that point. That's the best. That probably is the best PS2 game, even though it was superior on GameCube. Aside from the lack of the additional content that's on the PS2 version, I've always wanted to play it on the Wii because the Wiimote I feel like will make that game pretty fun to play. But I don't know what other games. Gunner Sports, best call. Oh, Matthew Stewart, Jack 2. That is a good game. All the Jack games were great. I didn't play the racing one, though. I couldn't care less about that. Gunner Sports asked best Call of Duty. COD 4. I mean, it's not even a question. I like Black Ops. Black Ops 2. Black Ops 3's pretty good still. I feel like there's some missteps with that one. It's COD 4. Modern Warfare 2 was good when it came out. Then it was broken after that because there's so many exploits in the game. It's not even funny. Black Ops 2 is good. Modern Warfare 3, I hate it. Hate Ghosts. I think that I love this game, and I feel like I'm the only person that truly loves this because there's so much that I like about the game. It's so different from the other CODs in Advanced Warfare. Now, before you get your pitchforks at me and your torches, what I love about that game is that the exosuit, it's different from Infinite Warfare and Black Ops 3 where you do like hovering and stuff like that. It might not have wall running, but I guess with the exosuit and the way it works, wall running wouldn't work that well. Maybe it would if they could integrate in there somehow. But what I love about Advanced Warfare that you can't do in Black Ops 3 and Infinite Warfare is when you do the double jumps and stuff like that with the exosuit. You don't hover, you shoot straight up. Or you do a double jump and then you click in the stick, pull it back, pull it forward, pull it left, pull it right, pull it diagonal, I don't care which way. You can do boosts to any direction when you're in midair or on the ground, and there's a lot of evasive maneuvers and defensive options that you don't see in any other Call of Duties, really. It might not have wall running, but with those features, I'm able to dance around people in that game because of the skill. There's a skill level to the moving around. It's not just spamming. You need to have the skill to be able to get up there, jump up, dodge bullets. The time to kill, you still die pretty quick in that game, but you're able to move so fast that it kind of counteracts the lack of health you have. That's what I love about that game. It's very fast paced, but at the same time, there's a lot of tactical, opportunities with it, with that movement system. And I feel like it's underrated in that sense. I feel like maybe people didn't get a good enough grasp on the exosuit capabilities. I think that there is a lot going on with that Call of Duty, and it is one of my favorite ones, actually. I think that that's a very well-made game, especially because that was Sledgehammer's first Call of Duty game by themselves. I want to say they did a single player for Modern Warfare 3. I don't remember. I know they worked on Modern Warfare 3 a bit, I believe. And that game turned out terribly. I hated it. But yeah, with Advanced Warfare, you can do those defensive capabilities. But with Infinite Warfare and Black Ops 3, you can still hover and stuff, but you go so slow that and especially in Infinite Warfare, it feels like you move so slow and so predictably that it's so easy to shoot and just pop them off like you're shooting pigeons or something. It's so easy to hit people when they're flying that it almost feels like a disadvantage sometimes when you fly in certain situations. In Advanced Warfare, a lot of time it is an advantage to get up there and move around fast because a lot of players can't keep up with you when you go that fast. For me personally, I don't even have my sensitivity up high. I keep it on medium. I jump up there, aim down, start boosting to one side, and they can't keep track of me because I could go in any direction. Right? With Black Ops 3, you can go in any direction, but you go so slow that it's easy to adapt. With Advanced Warfare, you can go up there and you can move so erratically or so unpredictably that that person might not be able to keep up. They might not be ready for that. So the initial jump they can keep up with, but if you're good at aiming, if you're good at aiming and keeping track of targets and moving fast, you're gonna excel at that game. And there's just a skill gap. There's a skill gap, which is what I like. There's a lot more skill to that game. It's still Call of Duty, so it's still easy to pick up, and there's not a lot of skill to it. But worst Halo game, 4, but I still think Halo 4 is good. I like the campaign. It didn't have the same touch as a Bungie game. The story was fun, though. But I don't think Halo 4 is bad still. I like ODST as well. I'm not even going to talk about Halo Wars because I don't like RTS games. But I like all the Halo games. So, what was that top-down twin-stick shooter? I didn't play that one as well. Spartan Assault. Didn't play that one. Sorry. Have I ever played Shadow of the Colossus? I played it back in the day. Back then it didn't grab me. I feel like I've picked it up now as I'm older. I've matured more with the type of games I've played. I would like it now. Maybe I will pick up the remastered version when the actual, remaster comes out in the PlayStation. Halo 5 story was bad. Yeah, it had so much potential. It has some cool moments in it, and I think a lot of the campaign missions are very well designed. I think it might be get a little too much hate, and I think a lot of that is due to the way it was advertised as being this game where you're hunting Master Chief, and it's going to be like a life or death fight somewhere in the end. Which, if you play the game, you know what happens. It sets up the next game pretty well, and I feel like that's its biggest flaw, is that it seems to be a way to set up the next game, really, instead of a really good standalone story. And it relies too much on outside material from the books, which I understand why it does, because it wants to get things that some players might be familiar with if they've read the books and stuff. But, there definitely was some things that could have done with the story. I don't think it's as bad as people say, but it's still the weakest of all the games. Besides, maybe with the exception of the first one, which I could make the argument for. And I don't think the first game has a bad story. It's just, it was the first game, they're building the world, and there wasn't a whole lot else to it. My chat is, getting all glitchy. Look at that. Look at the glitches going on the screen right there. That's weird. I think I'm about to end it off here soon. Oh, boy, I'm starting to sweat. I need to turn on this AC soon. It's really hot in here. Over an hour Q&A. That was fun. I'll say that. It was a fun one. We might have to do this again in the future. As for when my next upload actually is going to be, I want to work on something Friday. I might be recording stuff with Mike from Laughing Stock Media. Maybe I can get something done this weekend. I want to do a video about Gohan that I don't think anyone's really talked about. But it's all about just figuring out when I want to get this stuff done. I'm getting stuff done with my both cars tomorrow, so I have a busy week, but we'll see where it all goes. And yeah, I think my stream has crashed on me. Did it crash? Is it still running? I think it's still running. The OBS says that it's stopped. We're going to find out. I'm going to find out in a second here. I think so. I'm going to do like a hand motion here, because it's literally frozen on my recording thing. This is my hand motion. And if that all works out, I'll catch you guys later whenever I do my next thing. Thanks for watching this Q&A, and I'll catch you guys later.